For those who were not here for the previous session, my name is Ming, Zhou. I'm the product owner of InterSystems supply chain product. And joined with me today is Mark Holmes. Here is Mark. And he's leading our supply chain go-to-market activities. So both of us work very closely together. And I'll be driving this conversation mostly and supported by Mark. I'll give you a little overview of our product. And really, my focus of the session is about the value propositions. Through that, I'm going to share what are we doing inside the product to support those value propositions. And of course, since it's a product and technical session, I won't be doing it just without talking about the technology. I'll give you a little overview of the technology aspect and a quick demo as well to show what some of the art of possible that you can do with this product for your business use cases. And a couple of highlights on our supply chain roadmap, and hopefully we'll have some time for Q&As at the end. So earlier in the previous session, Mark did the poll, say how many of you heard about Supply Chain Orchestrator? So there was a good number of hands raised. I was very happy to see that. Last year, there was 0. Because we launched the product last year, of course, nobody knew at that point, right? So when I prepared for this session, I kind of debated a little bit how much I want to get into the details. If something is already out there, it's well-known knowledge to most people, I'm going to skip it. Otherwise, I should cover more, for the benefit of my audience. So how do I do that? What's the best way? What's a good way to do it? Is really to ask ChatGPT. Say, what does ChatGPT know about this product, right? So that's common knowledge, public, out there, right? So if ChatGPT knows, I think you guys can also find the same knowledge. So what would be the kind of questions you will be asking, for example? So I was thinking maybe the first one is this. What is InterSystems Supply Chain Orchestrator, right? In case you don't have any background. Let's see what ChatGPT says. And I'm going to have Mark to see if these answers are aligned with what's really out there. And if you have your computer with you, you type in the same question, see if you get the same answer. So Mark, what do you think?
It's amazingly accurate.
So you give a thumbs up.
I give a thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe too much so, because then maybe I'm not needed for go-to-market.
All right, let's not give ChatGPT too much credit yet. So let's keep going. So what will be the next question you might be wondering, right? The next question you may be thinking, who should buy it? Should I need it? Or should I be using this product? And let's say what ChatGPT says. Again, Mark, what do you think?
No, it's very good. In fact, our strategy, so we do, like last year, right? Many of you were around when we launched, is it complements our strategy and who we want to go after for go-to-market actually quite well.
Wow, sounds like 2 thumbs up. If things goes like this, I can just send you all to ChatGPT. I can close the session here, right? So let's take one more question. Now let's say who should not be using it, right? And here's what ChatGPT gives me. What do you think, Mark, this time?
Hey, I think not as good.
Not as good.
Not as good. I'd say a majority of it is wrong.
Uh-oh. Well, sounds like I still need to continue with my session here today to make sure, see if at the end of my session that we all agree which of these answers is correct, which one is wrong. So keep that in mind. So I will continue with my presentation here, and we'll come back to this at the end of my presentation. So Mark doesn't like the answer, so we'll see why later. As we said earlier, we first launched this Supply Chain Orchestrator product in June 2023 last year. And this is really a decision intelligence application platform specialized for supply chain. Application platform, decision intelligence for supply chain. That's a keyword, right? It is built on top of our InterSystems Iris technology. So we are not starting from scratch. It's built on top of a very solid foundation. And we added a bunch of supply chain accelerators framework to make it easier for you to implement your supply chain solution. And we even enrich with some supply chain cloud services, ready-to-go specific supply chain functions available. So click, go was the idea to add any of those things to your business use cases as needed. You don't need to include them if you don't need them, but they are available to you. And one of the main advantage of this solution compared to others is really focusing on fast delivery of business values. We are not trying to compete with technology, even though I think our technology is probably as good as any of our competitors. But our focus is really to see how fast can we deliver business value to our client. Mark shared some use cases. 6 weeks, we were able to deliver, right? Fortune 100 company improved by 10 points. So that was amazing. And there was a lot of reasons, a lot of things we are doing right to be able to deliver this advantage from low code, from cloud agnostic, from composable solutions. And I'll be talking more about those things in details. And one thing I want to say here is it's not a pre-packaged solution ready to be applied to your business for very specific use case. So out of box, right? We can potentially support a lot of use cases, but out of box is not ready to with any of the specific use case solved with out of box software. So it's for you to implement your solution to configure your use cases. So earlier I mentioned I don't want to give you a list of inventory, say how many features ABC to 100 or something like that. So instead, I'm going to focus on the business value proposition. So what kind of value deliver through Supply Chain Orchestrator to the line of business. In the same process, I will show you what other supporting technology or components we are giving you to achieve those kind of value proposition. And here's a list. From starting your digitization process to gain your supply chain visibility, to benchmarking where you are, to how you can take advantage of optimization to really gain competitive advantage, to how can you collaborate with your partners, with other systems, and in order to really to achieve the optimal outcome. And most of all, actionable insight. We don't just let you to manage your data, to understand what analytics is telling you from your data. We also help you to make intelligent decisions supported by real-time data. And AI, of course, everybody in this conference almost have to mention AI, but we are not just for the sake of talking. We actually are using AI in some very interesting ways, not from a technology perspective, really from your business solution perspective, and I'll show you why. And first, I want to talk about digitalization. So with this Supply Chain Orchestrator, you can start anywhere in your digital journey for your supply chain. Right? You can be at your starting point. You can be already in very advanced stages. No matter where we are or where you are, this technology can help you. And we're providing a very powerful supply chain data engine. Right? We heard about people talking this morning about structured data, unstructured data, image data, vector data, all of those things. You got it. You don't have to worry about whatever data you have. This data engine handles it all. And we even provide an integration engine from simple things like how do you take a spreadsheet? A lot of people are doing spreadsheet, right? To very high-tech solutions from data streaming, among other things. And we can support all of those things. So wherever you are in your digital journey, we give you that capability, the support you need. And of course, none of these will be very helpful without a supply chain data model. Remember, this is the application platform for supply chain. So we want to give you the basics you need, no matter what industry, what vertical you are, give you a core canonical data model that you can extend to meet your business need, but still we give you sufficient support that you don't have to spend a lot of time to figure out all the itty-bitty details in your data model. So, and then all the supported features we provide is also covered from APIs, from upload, from UI, from the backend. All of those things are available to you. So really help you to start anywhere in your supply chain and grow from there. And connecting the data, the first thing you may want to do is really to gain the visibility, right? So a lot of people, as Mark mentioned earlier, you got ERP data, you get the WMS data, you get the logistic data, but you cannot bring them together. You cannot see something happens on the upstream, on the first mile, how is it impacting your downstream to your last mile. And we provide you the data model which covers connecting the data from one side of your supply chain to the other. So that really helps you to gain the overall visibility to your supply chain. And not to mention, you're not going to be able to do a lot without analytics, right? So analytics runs right on top of our data engine. So that can be leveraged whether you want to do a report to the BI and stuff. You can also, using the data you get, and use it as a single source of truth to share with other systems in your enterprise. So you are not only doing things within one system. Remember earlier that we are the connective tissue to bring all your existing systems together to really maximize the value. We're not there to rip and replace. We help you to enhance the performance of your existing data and gain additional advantage out of your systems. And benchmarking with analytics. For those who are familiar with InterSystems Iris, we have a lot of capabilities from analytics perspective, right? We call it Iris BIs and all those capabilities that you can do. You can even using your favorite BI tools like Power BI on top of our technology. So we give you all those capabilities. It's not just a closed system, it's an open system. And for supply chain specifically, we'll not only give you the access to these BI tools, to all these capabilities, we even build additional supply chain framework called KPI framework on top of the analytics. So that the goal of that is to let you to define your business metrics, how you want to measure your supply chain, and how you want to keep track your performance from the business perspective. Because even though a simple API, so we talk about on time in full, right? If you go to the detailed definition, on time in full, it varies from business to business. Even within the same company, from business have a different definition on time in full. So this KPI framework allows a business user to put in their definition, how they want to measure their business. And the system will take care of that for them. So you don't have to code it, to hire a data engineer or developer to implement it. We provide that configuration capability on top of our analytics capability. And supply chain optimization is not really a new field per se. It's a concept existed for a long time, and we all know there are many parts of your supply chain can use a lot of optimization from, say, your supply optimization, inventory optimization, production optimization, and so on. You actually don't even need to use the latest generative AI to do this, right? There are technologies out there to do all kinds of optimizations. And why we haven't solved this problem for supply chain? There are many reasons. Actually, I'm going to get to more details later on. But one particular reason on this one is mathematically, there are tons of libraries out there to help you solve your problem. But supply chain optimization typically is not typically defined on an analytical function. It's defined by a set of data that your enterprise owns. The process, your particular process is defined upon. So optimization based on that data set for specific logic, how you run your supply chain, is not the easiest thing as you were given a mathematical function, how do you optimize it? So with our capability we provide here, we make that easy for you. So optimization defines by data. The first thing you need to handle correctly is what? You need to have all your supply chain data under control from upstream to downstream. So you can see how your objective function is linked, how the constraints is impacting from upstream to downstream. So we give you that unified data point of view, so you don't have to worry about that. You can focus on how you want to optimize by cost, efficiency, sustainability, or combine of many things. So we allow you to focus on the business rules and your business logic, and we will take care of the things for you. We even provide you with a mechanism that if you have a preferred library for optimizations, bring it in to our platform and use that, and we'll help you to put these problems together and get the solution for you. And we are not stopping there, and we're also working on additional capabilities like a cloud service. That way, we will pre-certify certain problem optimization problems for you, so you don't even need to do it the way that we all have to do it for you. We're going to do it for you. You just bring in that problem as long as there's the same use case you're trying to address. So give you more help out of box. The goal is what? Accelerate time to value. We want you to focus on your business problem, not how to connect the data to the algorithms and all of these things. We want to give you more help so you can get the solution you are looking for. Collaboration. Supply chain is not typically, for the type of problem we're trying to deal with, it's not something you can solve within a small unit, right? Any supply chain disruptions, the ripple effect is upstream and downstream. You really need to have a lot of collaborations from your partners, from the suppliers, and things like that. So our supply chain orchestrator make that collaboration easy for you. So when you need to send alert to somebody, when you need to share your supply plan with your suppliers, we have those features covered for you. So you just need to know how you want to manage risk across your supply chain. And the collaboration is not limited to business partners. You can also think about in your enterprise, you have many applications, many softwares, many services. They also need to collaborate with each other by sharing information, by interacting with each other. And when you make a decision, you want to know what's the impact on the other systems before you actually take that action, right? So a lot of those also requires collaboration. And then we provide you the utilities, the tools you need to collaborate with different systems in addition to collaborate with your partners. And actionable insight was one of the other differentiator that Mark mentioned earlier. And Gartner ranked us, we are on their market guide list, right, as a vendor for decision intelligence for supply chain. It's really, all the stuff I have talked so far is how can we help you to put your data under control? And then how can we help you to understand what the data is telling you, right? From KPIs, analytics, and perspective. And this part is really about, now you have your data under control, you know how you are doing, where you are, what the risk, and where are the issues. So what? And people are looking for help in actions. What can I do? What should I do when my on-time info is, say, 50%, right? What should I do to improve it to 70%, to 99.99% as Peltec did, right? People want to know, what should I do? How can I improve? And this is the capability that we're providing, is really to help people to understand and make the intelligent decisions based on their business logic, based on real-time data. The feature we're providing from issue lifecycle management, impact analysis, prescriptive actions, so all of these things we are providing to our customers. So you can put in your specific business rules. You can put in your specific business processes to handle such scenarios. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you a demo what these actually look like when you put all of these capabilities together. And of course, from technology perspective, it can be AI-driven process, it can be business process-driven process, it can be a simple ones like a decision tree, right? So driving how you make decisions. So there are all kind of possibilities available, and our technology gives you those capabilities that you can configure and putting together your solution with real-time data using your logic. And we can even do this in different mode. If you trust the model you have, you trust the logic you put in place, you can have Supply Chain Orchestrator to automatically take actions for you. If you have a late shipment, I know exactly what to do. Here's the logic, just go it. Maybe you'll notify somebody, or maybe you'll redirect the shipment somewhere else, or you do another option. So you can automate the whole process if you believe you have total control over the entire process and you trust it. Now, if you're not there yet, in the early days, you can put the human in the loop. You can say, oh, okay, so for these type of things, you can automatically execute it. But for any large orders, you probably want to have some human beings to review it, to take the action before they got the blessing from certain expert. And you can put human in the middle. And over time, our system can learn from all this historic information to see, how are we doing? Is the current process really capturing the real logic, matches the data? So we can learn over time, gain more confidence. So eventually you can eliminate step by step, the manual step, and get into a more automated process, a more trusted process. So all of those are capabilities that we provide from our supply chain orchestrator perspective. And AI, I put that at the end. We have heard a lot from yesterday to this morning what InterSystems are doing. So I list a few things. AI, is beyond just the generative AI, right? From the traditional machine learning to natural language processing, NLP, and vector search, vector database, which was highlighted a lot this morning, to the capability that we allow you to bring your favorite large language model into this data platform to let it do work for you. And we have some demo to highlight, what some of the possible scenarios that the LLM model can do for you through generative ML. And none of this AI solution will do you any good if you don't provide the right data to these models. ML, GenAI, same thing. You need to feed the right data to these models, to train it, to prompt it, in order to get the right answer. And our our application platform give you all that capability. So you do not have to worry about ETL your data from one source to another, from one schema to a different schema, in order to consume it. We provide the one data set, different semantic views. It can be used for various purposes, for ML purposes, for GenAI purposes, or for any other analytic purposes. Each of them can have their own semantic views, but it's on the same data set. No extra work required. Remember the keywords we are mentioning again and again? X-ray time to value. We want you to focus on what you need to do, not how to get the data ready for those little things. And of course, I give a few AI potential use cases in supply chain. We all know, for example, the demand forecast. If you can do a good job like that, you're gonna be the heroes in your company if you can get the demand forecast correct, right? And there's other things, prediction models from ETA predictions to many other things. So we have that covered for you. And GenAI Copilot can be used for both technical purposes, can be used for business user perspectives, and they can do different things. I will touch upon some of those use cases in a separate slides to really give you the capability at your hands so you don't have to worry about the little things. You're focusing on what you want to achieve from your use case perspective. So those are a few kind of business process, the business value perspectives, what we can help you, how we can help you, and what we are providing out of our product, Supply Chain Orchestrator. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about our technology. Earlier, Mark mentioned something, 4 capability in one platform, right? So we are talking about data engine, integration engine, analytics engines, NLPs, and you name it, securities, so many things. They're in our tech stack. We got them all, right? So I heard the question a lot from when we attend events, say, hey, how is this tech stack compared to AWS or Microsoft Azure, right? So I really don't want to get into the conversation, say, which service is better than the other. Our differentiator is really not the number of capabilities, not how powerful one is better than one of our competitors, is really Smart Data Fabric. What does that mean? That means this tech stack we're providing, they are not individual cloud services as you see in AWS. These services work together. If you need service A, B, and C, and you need them to work together to achieve certain things, you don't have to spend extra effort to make them work together. That's one. Number two, these services, they are all next to the data in our platform. We bring this technology to our data, versus in many others, you have to bring your data to those services, right, in AWS. That's another key differentiator. And these services, you can compose solutions allow you to do that. So you don't have to code a lot of things. So basically, you can pick what you need. Remember the diagram Mark showed you, right? So you can compose that allow you to do a lot of things much faster. So you really focus on what your needs are. And then that gets converted into what the supporting components or tech stack you need to do achieve it. And then they just work together. And one of the examples I'm going to give you, hopefully if I have time, to demonstrate to you, our KPI framework I mentioned earlier, through one configuration, I can link my KPI from what's the original transactional data you're dealing with this KPI. Orders, shipment, inventories, that's one part. With the business logic, how you want to measure it. Say, late orders, what's your definition of late? Is 4 hours late? Or same day is not late, the next day is late, right? There's all kind of definitions. So the one configuration, you can define your business process. You can also link that to your analytics modules. What are the data cubes, and so on. In addition, you can also link the business process. If you have a late order, what process you would like to run to understand the impact of this late order. So that business process is also part of the configuration. So you think about this transactional data, your customer logic, your analytics cubes, business processes, including business rules, all through one configuration. And now they come from different part of the tech stack, right? And that's what the Smart Data Fabric lets you to do. Give you that capability that you can compose solutions through your data tech, from your tech stack. So really, that's the key differentiator, in my opinion, to give you extra time to value. So far, we only talk about how we are helping technical people, right? You have all the technology you need in the tech stack. You have a Smart Data Fabric to make you do more efficient work. Now, why do we need this? GenAI. And the reason I singled it out is this. So we talked a lot about this morning and yesterday, right? A lot of benefit for GenAI. It can help us to improve our productivity. It can help us to reduce the cost and many other things. But for supply chain, I think, and not just supply chain, in general, business applications, there's another very game-changing potentials with GenAI, and here's why. So Mark mentioned earlier, he and I travel a lot around the globe, and we talk to our customers. Everywhere we go, every event we go, and we keep hearing, I need solutions, I don't need technology, right? So if you look at the technology today, most of the problems is solvable by this technology. Why we are not solving all those problems? The trick is this: computers can only solve the problem the computer can understand. Now today, or traditionally, what do you need to do to make computer understand your problem? Python code, Java, XML, JSON, YAML, right? These are the things that computer can understand. And for us, supply chain practitioners, what language do we speak? On time in full, SNOP, available to promise, right? So we speak this language. How many of you speak those YAMLs, JSONs, and Pythons? Not that many. However, with generative AI, you understand the technology. Now you also can understand the business needs. Can you imagine if you can let the computer understand your problem in your own language and what the potential of that might be? So when Terry said something, his notes yesterday, he said AI is the new interface. I cannot agree more with that. Not because he's a CEO. It's really, I fully believe in that sentence. In my point of view, there are two meanings to that. One, generative AI is a new interface for business users to interact, to understand what the computer is doing for the business user. That's one interface, right? Interface for business users to do things. At the same time, I think GenAI can also be an interface for computers to understand business users, human beings, what kind of problem you want to solve. And if you can really make that clear, computer understand that with all this technology, business user will have a lot more power in their hand to solve a lot more problems than what they are getting today. So that's really, in my opinion, is a part of GenAI from the business perspective. And that's what we are bringing to you through Supply Chain Orchestrator. We give you all this enabling technology in one platform, in one product called Supply Chain Orchestrator. And behind the scene is powered by InterSystems Iris. And with all the capability we heard this morning, yesterday, they did vector search, among many other things. Those technology abilities are available to your solution, to the problems you're trying to solve. So with that, I'm sorry, the timer is not running, so I don't know if I'm 15 minutes? 13 minutes? Okay, I will do a quick demo, and then hopefully we'll wrap up for a few more questions. So in this demo, what I will show is this. Probably have one more slide I can use to set it up. So here, let me bring the slides back. We want to use one use case to highlight how can we accelerate time to value using InterSystems Supply Chain Orchestrator from the point of how we can quickly help you to get your data under control, and then defining your business KPIs help you understand what the data is telling you, to the point that what kind of actions you should take or you can take to mitigate the risk that system identified. And then with GenAI on top of it to help you feel comfortable that the recommended actions is the right action for you to take. Or maybe it's not, and maybe it will help you to find an alternative action to take. So that's a demo I'm going to show you. Thank you. That's all the time I have? Okay. All right. Let me see. So I have a demo UI here. Right now, I preloaded some data because the data set is huge, so I don't want to waste your time, so I preload the data. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define some business KPI to see how you want to measure your business. And that I can do it through a simple API call. I'm going to just run it APIs. So once the API is completed, now come back to the UI. You can think of this as a supply chain dashboard looking at the the outbound orders. If I refresh it now, okay. See, I created a couple of KPIs on time in full and also some late ship orders KPI. And of course, this is probably nothing too special about this. You can look at these KPIs. Break down by different things, and then you notice some issues already created for you. So these are the orders have problems based on the definition of this KPI. And I'm not going to go through the detailed logic, what was configured in this KPI. And you can go to each one of these individual records and to see what's impacted. So this is this order from this customer, shipped to that location, and here is the item details, what's included in the order. So now we know this is going to be late. What can we do, right? So here is what we were saying. We can run analysis to really find out what is the impact, and more importantly, if that's the impact, what can we do? So here is showing you some details. So we don't have to worry too much about the details. But the important thing you can see is it gives you some impact details and recommendation of actions, A and B and C's, right? And one of them is recommended. So you may be wondering, based on those two lines, I'm not sure if I should take that action immediately. I need more evidence, more information, so I know that is the right thing to do. So that's why we provide this Copilot capability here. Mark showed you one of the screenshots. So this was what? Option B was recommended. So let's say why option B recommended. Now it's going to take a little time. We are using GPT-4. This is a live feed going to GPT and blah, blah, blah. And let's see what comes back. Hopefully in 5 more seconds, something will show up. If not, I have some screenshot I can use. So behind the scene, what it's doing is you have already configured, implemented a lot of stuff, right? From the business process perspective and other rules perspective. Those are technical implementations. Yes. Oh, it's back? OK, let's see what it says. OK, so looks like it's based on cost, right? So you have different options you can take. And each option will cost different amount of money. So this decision was made based on cost to improve my bottom line, right? I don't want to be impacted too much to spend too much money to address these problems, so cost. So now you may be wondering, if this is one of my top customers, would that be the logic you're going to use to make a decision based on cost to your bottom line? You're probably not, right? So then you may want to find out how important is this customer. So then I may ask this question, say, what is the total revenue from this customer? So maybe that tells me how important this customer is to my business, right? And maybe I will take some different actions. So we're going to wait a few more seconds, see if it comes back. Behind the scene, each of these questions get mapped to a different LLM model or different AI model. So some of these questions, oh, here we go, $20 million. So it doesn't seem to be a small customer, right? So maybe we shouldn't use that criteria, so cost as my criteria. Maybe I should say, I should really get something over to this guy as soon as possible, right? Okay, so maybe there's a way you have a process already configured to do that. So then I'm going to run a different analysis. I will say not cost effective. I will say time effective analysis. So I have different process implemented, configured. It's all on Iris data engine. So now let's see if anything changes. Ooh, option C is now recommended. Because if you ask the same question, why option C? It will show you that must have the least time impact. So that's what we can, the power we can provide. And I close the chat box. So behind the chat box, the first question is trying to explain what's behind the business process. And the second question is really behind what are the supporting data. So remember I mentioned earlier, so what if you, the way to make computer understand your requirement is through through the regular business language, right? This is one of the examples. I show my requirement. I want you to solve the problem I want to retrieve some data. I don't know how the data is stored. I don't know what your schema looks like. I don't know how many joins or SQLs or MDX or some queries you build. You just go and do it. And when you get the result, and don't show me the raw data, and present the data in a human readable way. That's what the demo was showing you. So we are already making progress toward that to have business people have control over the solutions, to interact with the computers. Now that's just baby steps. Look in the future what computer can do for you with generative AI, right? People are already asking GenAI to generate PowerPoint for you. I can ask GenAI to generate my presentation. People are also asking GenAI to generate charts, not just data, charts, reports, and not to mention many other, even entire projects. So we are making big progress there. This is not hype. This is real. It's going to impact a lot of people. Just a couple of comments on some roadmap items. We probably won't have time to go through the details. So one thing is we have a new data gateway product coming up in the second half of the year. So the idea is, even though we have all those capabilities, still require some technical skills. And this product will allow a non-technical, non-developer user to really manage the data for your supply chain. So at very high level, that's what this is about. And there are different use cases. You can use this product to manage the data for your supply chain orchestrator applications. You can use this product to help you to serve as a unified data source for other applications to feed your planning solutions, to feed your warehouse solutions, right, through this. Or Mark said, you may have 30, 20, 15 ERPs. And through this product, without through coding yourself, you can help you consolidate the data from different ERPs, map in the master data, and then match the corresponding transaction together with these master data. So you can have a unified view across all these ERP systems. So those are just some quick examples through this new data gateway project. Another one we're going to ship soon is the track and trace. If you are in logistics, you know how important it is to track your containers, your parcel, through air, through ocean, on the truck, right? So this service will allow you to get that visibility from latest location perspective, the status, milestone perspective, and the idea is through click and go, this will work seamlessly with your supply chain orchestrator. So you don't have to worry about what the API looked like, how the data was integrated. No, you're focusing on if you have the ETA update, how you want to utilize that for your use case. So that was the idea. Again, X-ray time to value. So if you want to see more details, we have a table downstairs at Tech Exchange, the supply chain table. We have actual live demos for all of these capabilities, including these roadmap items. So with that, remember the ChatGPT questions early on? So let's take another look at it as a final test. Not a test of you, how much you get what I'm saying. It's really a test for myself to see how effective my presentation is. So now, will you agree with what Mark is thinking about some of those answers? So let's take a look. So this is the original question and answers. So we're going to look at one by one, see if they're true or false. All right? So Mark, how about the first question?
I would say false.
Why?
And the reason being is that SMB is a target for us in certain verticals, and you could have a small business and a simple supply chain, but you still have disruptions. You still have on time and full, and we can help with those disruptions.
All right, so the first one is false. Now, the second question, organizations with limited IT resources should not consider it. Is that true?
It's definitely false. So it's actually, we like it when there's limited IT resources, is because we can help optimize with limited resources to do what we need to do.
All right, so that is also false. Now the next one, business with no volume or infrequent supply chain activities.
I would say that's also false. And the reason why it's false is take Boeing for an example. They might make 70 planes a week, a month. But you have other FMCG companies that are making 1,000, Pepsi cans a day. So volume is no. You still have issues within your supply chain, disruptions within your supply chain, and you still have decisions to make.
All right, so this one is not true either. So the next question, industries with minimum regulatory compliance requirements.
Yeah, that's also false. Because actually, if you have limited regulatory compliance, you could actually have a more disruptive supply chain. So, irregardless of regulations or not, it's an issue. So no.
No. All right, so the next question is organization with existing satisfactory solutions.
That could be true. I think as long as your KPIs are being met, then it can be true.
Okay, so that is true. The next question is startups with limited budgets.
I'd say that's also false. The reason being is that we like startups, we like innovation. And we've been talking about that today, right? So I think with startups, with limited budgets, we'll make it work because we want the innovation, we want the thought leadership so that we can help impact those businesses.
All right, so that's not true. And the next one is business prefer on-prem solutions.
Definitely false. We can be in the cloud, on-prem, hybrid. It does not matter.
All right. And the next question is companies with non-standard supply chain processes.
Yeah, I think ChatGPT did, not a very good job on this one. I would say no. In fact, we like non-standard. Yes, time's up. We like non-standard processes. Our interoperability helps to optimize and create more optimized processes. So no.
No. All right. So it looks like majority of these things that ChatGPT provided is not quite accurate. Now, doesn't mean ChatGPT 4 is bad. That means, another example, if you don't feed the right data, right information to your large language model, you're not going to get the right answers. Right? So key takeaways. Supply Chain Orchestrator is a decision intelligence application platform enriched with a set of supply chain services for delivering supply chain solutions to line of business. We are heavily line of business focused, solution oriented. And Smart Data Fabric enables accurate time to value, right? The reason we were able to do a very complex problem in a few weeks because of the Smart Data Fabric. And AI brings more control into the hands of business user, and you saw some of the examples here. So that's our key takeaway. And we have, we love your feedback. Please give the survey from your app, and we have some early access programs that you can really download and try out. That's pretty much my presentation, and we have time for questions, Mark? Not really.
As long as you're not leaving, why not?
Yeah. All right. Any questions?
Well, Ming and I are going to be around, so by all means, you just ask your questions whenever this is over.
Yes.
So the different presentation I heard about this, there was also the factor of geopolitical information that maybe isn't inside of my business, but out in the internet, for example,
Sure.
or tweets or whatever, some additional data that might not be in my business. Do you have any customers that already feed those kinds of information into their supply chain orchestrator?
There are a lot of companies doing especially just for things like that. Actually, my prior employer, IBM, they have some solutions like that. And the way we are handling it, we are not going to be building solutions for all data content from all different sources, right? We work with partners. We can bring their solutions through a cloud service to be available on our data platform. So that's the approach we are taking. So some of you, if you are specialized in doing certain things and doing it very well, we want to work with you. We want to bring your service to this platform, which will make your solution available to other customers.
And I can just add, too, through our UST partnership, don't forget, they're running their visibility platform on our technology. So all their customers are using our technology to manage disruptions, geopolitical events, weather. Obviously, hurricane season is coming up now. So yes, we manage the UST and as Ming just stated.
Yeah, good question. All right, if there's no other questions, I'll be, we have a supply chain table downstairs at Tech Exchange, and feel free to stop by. We can have any other conversations as needed. Thank you all for coming.